The bigger blast radius thesis: why blockchains may outgrow the internet's impact. Flint West reporting. Let's start with something we all agree on. The internet was one of the greatest growth engines in human history. It connected 5 billion people. It collapsed geography. It rewired communication, media, commerce, and culture. It gave us a digital economy worth roughly $16 trillion, about 15% of global GDP. That's not small, that's civilizational. But here's the part most people miss. The internet didn't make money at the foundation. It made money at the edges. The protocols, TCP/IP, HTTP, SMTP, were free, open, commoditized. The value didn't settle into the base layer. It pooled in applications. Google, Amazon, Meta, powerful companies, enormous market caps. But all of them sitting on top of infrastructure they don't own. That structure matters because it tells you what kind of system you're dealing with. The internet was a machine for distributing information, and information is light. You can copy it, duplicate it, broadcast it. Value is different. Value is heavy. When value moves, it hits things: institutions, law, sovereignty, identity, geopolitics. And that's where blockchains enter the picture. Blockchains don't move information. They move value. They don't rent access. They settle ownership. Bitcoin isn't an app. Ethereum isn't a platform. They are economic primitives. They sit where money, trust, and coordination converge, and that puts them at a deeper layer than the internet ever touched. This is why people keep getting crypto wrong. They measure it like a product. They ask for adoption curves, user numbers, revenue models. They reach for total addressable market. But TAM is the wrong tool. TAM works for companies. It breaks for infrastructure. Protocols don't scale by selling more units. They scale by becoming unavoidable. That's why we introduced a better lens: Blast Radius. This content is brought to you by Bobby Giggs. Promote your brand here and reach a wide audience across platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow the links in the description to get started. Blast Radius doesn't ask how big the market is. It asks how far the consequences propagate if the system works. Who does it touch? What systems does it collide with? What assumptions does it break? TCP/IP had almost no TAM. Its blast radius was planetary. Bitcoin today sits around $3 trillion in market value. But its blast radius reaches into banking systems, central banks, capital controls, and state power itself. That's the difference. And we're already seeing the downstream effects. Real-world assets, bonds, real estate, private credit are migrating on-chain. Estimates run $10 to $30 trillion by 2030. Regulated blockchain networks already process trillions annually. BlackRock isn't experimenting. Apollo isn't curious. Fidelity isn't early. They're integrating. And here's the structural inversion most people still haven't internalized. On the internet, protocols were free and apps captured value. In crypto, the protocol is the business. Fees, settlement, security, staking, value accrues at the core. That single design shift changes everything. Because once value becomes bearer native, programmable, globally transferable, it stops being just a financial upgrade. It becomes a coordination upgrade. And coordination is where civilizations live or die. This is why blockchains feel slow, abstract, overhyped. High blast radius systems always do. They don't announce themselves with clean UX. They arrive sideways, through plumbing, regulation, settlement, back offices, quietly. Then suddenly, the internet changed how humanity shares information. Blockchains may change how humanity coordinates value. That's a deeper layer, a heavier layer, a more dangerous layer. And systems that rewrite coordination don't just create markets, they rewrite reality. That's the bigger blast radius thesis. Flint West signing off.